This module is all about APIs, but the important question to get started is, what is an API? API stands for Application Programming Interface, which might not be too helpful, I guess, but actually an API does the following. It manages the communication between two applications using requests and responses. So we send information to such an API, and the API returns a response based on our request. Now, as we talk about ChatGPT and the ChatGPT API, let's have a closer look at how the normal ChatGPT interface works, so the ChatGPT interface we used in this course so far. This thing you see here is the user interface, so the website OpenAI provides to use ChatGPT. Now, this interface allows you to ask questions, to send so-called prompts up here. But behind the scenes, what is actually going on is that the website itself that holds or stores the website code doesn't contain this actual logic ChatGPT uses to run the large language model. By adding your input in the user interface, you actually send a request to the ChatGPT API, which is basically another computer, so to say, holding all the code, all the logic, so all the information the large language model needs to process data and therefore to provide the responses for your questions. So behind the scenes, the official ChatGPT website does nothing else but providing a user interface with the logic integrated to send requests and, more importantly, to receive responses. So the answer, the output ChatGPT provides is nothing more than a response that was sent by the ChatGPT API. Now, we could dive deeper here, but the core thing you have to understand is that it's all about sending requests to this API and getting responses. Now, this module is all about implementing ChatGPT in your own websites, your own applications. Now, if we think about the logic we just talked about, the only thing we have to do is we have to replace the user interface that OpenAI provides to run ChatGPT for the user with our own interface. This one here, for example, this was created by Max, and this interface here actually contains all the logic to also send requests to the API and to get back responses and to display these inside the user interface. So this whole thing here is our own interface to run ChatGPT, quite similar to the interface and to the logic you know from the actual ChatGPT website, and with all the features basically you know from this official site. Now, besides the interface, which looks quite similar and better in my opinion, we can of course also add our prompts, which will be sent as a request to the ChatGPT API, and the API can then process our request, our prompt, just as we know it from the normal ChatGPT side, and then provide the response as we can see it on our website. And that's actually the core idea behind this whole API thing. The logic, how ChatGPT, how this large language model works, is on a dedicated server, on a dedicated computer. By default, ChatGPT or OpenAI provide an interface to interact with this large language model on this computer. And now we just replace the official user interface with our custom interface. This can be a website, this can be a simple Python program, this could be anything you could imagine, where you want to send a request to ChatGPT and get a response.